I was born and bred around this area and grew up in this area. Have worked in other locations as well in Victoria. So I suppose when I came back to this area, it was around about that time when we were seeing widespread stress and death of red gums in the park. You know, this is a park that's built on regular flooding. We're in semi-arid sort of landscape, so it needs water to survive.
It's that ongoing ability for the lakes to maintain water in a semi-arid landscape, which is less than 10 inches or 300 mil of rainfall. It won't persist those species like Regent parrot that you can hear chirping in the background without these lakes in this system.
Our most recent flood in end of 2010 and start of 2011 didn't actually get onto this marker. So water came up to behind, pretty much lapping at this big red gum tree, but didn't actually get to this marker. So people have an impression that the most recent flood was the panacea, if you like, for the park and this landscape, but doesn't actually rate a mention on our large flood marker. River regulation has reduced that regular flooding, no doubt about that, and that reduced its duration and reduced its timing and reduced its extent. The drought really exacerbated this change of flooding regimes, and the landscape started to tell us that it was sick and tired of it, and that it couldn't survive without regular flooding.
This place was pretty well barren, in the middle of drought, not a lot of growth, and that. And I remember one stakeholder saying, "Well, if we put the water back in here, that's what we need. We need water back in here so I could bring my kids out fishing, do the things that I did as a child."
During the Millennium Drought, there was no water entered Hattah Lakes, and we started seeing incredible degradation there. We're seeing very old red gums dying. The Mallee CMA, working with Parks Victoria, developed a plan to pump water into the lakes.
Certainly didn't save every tree, and that wasn't the aim, but it was certainly as a bit of a drought refuge to give the landscape some water into it, to give the birds and the animals and frogs and turtles something to cling to before better times arrived.
By putting some water in back, environmental water, and we can see the benefits from environmental water here now, even before the floods come, it makes a difference.
Being able to trial the watering with the environmental watering program, that gave us the confidence to know that what we were planning with the Living Murray program was really going to work. We knew that we could get water to these landscapes with pumping infrastructure that was just hired from local contractors, but it was equipment that was easily able to be replicated for a more permanent arrangement.
The project's just finishing construction at this stage. So behind me is what we call Messenger's regulator. It will spend most of its life open, so allowing water to flow from the Murray to the lakes, and as the Murray falls away, the lakes drains back to the Murray. So it's a two-way flow in this creek. So if we don't get the flood, or the flood's not long enough, or doesn't quite raise the water level high enough, we can close the gates during the flood, then turn the pump station on and extend the duration of flooding or extend the area of flooding. Even though the works will be finished this summer, we won't start using them until next winter. Operation of the works is very much to match the natural cycles.
It's a $30 million once-in-a-lifetime investment, really, in the future of this park, and we go along on our normal everyday programs with much less money, much less resources than what this has been able to deliver. So, we're really thankful and really pleased and excited to be looking forward to seeing how this operates and how it delivers into the future.
It's been a great learning curve in collaboration and working together and engineering and lots of different aspects. This project has brought together state and federal governments from both sides of the river from a state perspective, also the Murray-Darling Basin Authority, the Catchment Management Authority, Parks Victoria, DSE, Golden Murray Water, council's even been involved in some aspects. There's been lots of different players.
The Murray-Darling Basin Authority and local communities and the state government have put in a lot of time and effort. Been a lot of criticism at times, and I think a lot of people misunderstood what was happening in the early stages. to be able to get to a stage now where we can actually demonstrate that there's some real benefits from the Murray-Darling Basin's point of view, from the Victorian Government's point of view, and that us as a local community are happy to be involved with, I think is a major change in the way we manage our Murray River and this unique part of the landscape.